Hi guys, today we're going to be making a Lebanese and just general Middle Eastern dish called Shushbarak. It's basically like little dumplings, but they're immersed in a nice yogurt sauce. So first you're going to start off with onion. I think onion is the base of every single one of our things, so just make sure you're stacked with a pantry full of onions. I know we are. So yeah, just go ahead and chop that up. And once you're done with all of that, get a fancy tool to put it in a separate bowl, or not, just use your hands like a sensible person. And then you're going to stick all of that in a pot with some olive oil and let it cook for a little bit before adding, I believe, just salt. 2 teaspoons of that. And then 2 pounds of ground beef. And this is going to be the fillings of the dumplings we were talking about. Top that off with some pepper and some 7 spices seasoning. 2 teaspoons. And give that a good mix. Keep an eye on it, let it cook, don't let it burn. In a separate pan, we're going to prepare our garnishings? I don't know how to say that. But you're going to put the pan with olive oil and your pine nuts. Once those are nice toasty brown and cooked, place them right into that separate pot with everything else, obviously off of the heat, once the meat is done cooking. Moving on to the recipe for the dough of the dumplings. For your dry ingredients, we have flour, and you're going to add onto that some salt. No need to mix, just move it around a little bit. But then once you do start mixing, add some water. 1 cup of that. 1 1/4 cups of that. I'm so sorry. And then you're going to add an additional 1/4 cup of olive oil towards the very end, just to make sure the dough finally gets all compacted nice together. Wow, look at that, beautiful. And once that's done, cleaning all of the sides of the bowl, just set it aside to rest for just a little bit before you start working with it. As you can see, this is a very, very simple 4-ingredient dough. You can whip up a lot of things with this, not just these dumplings. So keep that in mind. Should not take long at all. But anyways, once you are ready to make those dumplings, you're going to cut up the dough you just made into 8 separate pieces. And my mom's just covering it so that the dough doesn't dry out as she's working with it. No need to proof because there's no yeast. So then you're going to take each individual dough that you just cut out. You're going to roll it out, make a little bit of a cylinder shape, and then you're going to use your pasta maker, your pasta smoother to make it nice and even more sheer. I guess you could totally do this by hand, but having one of these machines on hand is pretty convenient and makes the process go by a lot faster, especially this step. So you're just going to use a circular cookie cutter to cut out the shape for the dumplings. Once again, you can do this by hand. This is just more practical and easier. Invest in the Amazon products is my greatest piece of advice. But yeah, once you end up cutting all of those out, take each of the circles, add a little bit of meat in the middle. Yeah, hold it open like my mom is, kind of like an envelope. Seal it, and then pinch it all the way around to make these cute little hat dumpling things. I have no idea what you compare these to, but they're pretty cute. So this is cute and nice to watch. But yeah, do the same process. Make sure it's not too thin so that the meat isn't exploding or anything like that. But yeah, that's about it for the stuffing. Okay, once you go through several hours of labor, I'm kidding, it's not that long, especially if you have an extra set of hands. I thankfully wasn't forced to do this. I don't know who my mom forced to do this. I guess that varies for each dish. See, like, I escaped this time, but, you know, I feel bad for the person that didn't escape. I guess that's all I have to say. But then now we're going to move on to the yogurt sauce, as mentioning. Add some yogurt and some of these nice spices alongside with 4 cups of cold water all into a pot. This is cool because it requires no heat, or for this step at least. And just mix that until everything is nice and consistent. And also, if you want to use a blender, or my mom calls this the vizvist. I don't know what that means, but yeah, like, use some sort of processor blender type thing just to make sure it's the same consistency throughout the whole liquid drink. I don't know. Okay, anyways, once that's all done, you're going to place that on the heat. Make sure to watch it because this is dairy. You make sure it doesn't burn. And as you're doing that, place all of the Shushbarak dumplings inside. This is going to cook them more, and it's also just going to... Oh, that's how we serve the dish, and it's not going to do anything else. But yeah, then once they get a little bit nice and brown, you can see them start to get a little bit bigger. We're going to move on to the final step, and you're just going to cut up some garlic and put that in a separate pan with just olive oil. And let that cook for a little bit until you throw that into the Shushbarak mix as well. Top that off with some dry mint right at the very end. Maybe a lot of dry mint, not a little bit. Mix that around to get it everywhere. And that's it. We hope you guys enjoy this dish as much as we do. Happy Shushbaraking. Bye, guys!